Generating black LPVT tables. We need black LPVT tables for reservoir simulation study and other calculation. Generally, black LPVT tables are generated using an equation of a state model. For generating black LPVT table, we need to simulate a PVT experiment which can be CCE, CVD, or DLE. Then the question is, which experiments should we use to generate black LPVT tables? CCE, CVD, or DLE? We recommend CCE experiment. Now I will go through the work done to reach this conclusion. So what we have done, we have taken an equation of a state model to generate black LPVT tables, and these US models are taken from SP 63087 and SP 30714. And then using equation of a state model, we have generated black LPVT table using CCE, CVD, and DLE experiment. And then we have done a compositional simulation and black L simulations. For black L simulation, we have used the black LPVT tables generated using CCE, CVD, and DLE experiment, all three. And then we have compared compositional and black L simulation results and see compositional simulation result is close to which black LPVT table. For compositional simulation, we have used Eclipse 300 and Eclipse 100 for black LP simulation. First, we have taken a rich gas condensate from SP paper 63087, and reservoir simulation model is also taken from the same paper. This rich gas condensate has a oil gas ratio of 200 stock tank barrel per million standard cubic feet, and this plot is showing oil gas ratio variation with pressure for all three black LPVT tables, CCE, CVD, and DLE. Black line is for CCE, red line is for CVD, and blue for DLE. We see that CCE and CVD are quite similar, and DLE is slightly lower pressure. In this, both black LPVT properties for both oil and gas are shown. The first line is for the oil PVT property, and second line, the bottom line, is for the gas properties. Top left is oil formation volume factor, top middle is solution gas oil ratio, and top right is oil viscosity. Bottom left is gas formation volume factor, bottom middle is solution oil gas ratio, and bottom right is gas viscosity. We see that if we see the top left oil formation volume factor, CCE and CVD experiments are quite close. DLE is different. Similarly for the gas oil ratio also. If we see the top right, the oil viscosity for DLE is quite different than CCE and CVD. CCE and CVD are quite close. Similarly, the gas properties, solution oil gas ratio in DLE is slightly lower than CCE and CVD. CCE and CVD are quite close. The same black LPVT tables data, but in metric unit system. Now this is showing the simulated performance for this rich gas condensate reservoir. And this black line is for the CCE with black LPVT table with CCE. Red line is for the black L simulation with black L table with CVD experiment, and blue is for DLE experiment. And compositional simulation performance is with pink line. And if we see here, that top right, which is the solution gas oil ratio, CCE and CVD are quite close and close to compositional, but Blackwell simulation with the DLE Blackwell PVD table is quite different. Now I will go through individual plots. The gas production rate. The gas production rate is quite similar for CCE, CVD and composition. Oil production rate is also quite similar for CCE, CVD and compositional. This is the producing gas oil ratio, and producing gas oil ratio, the compositional and CVD are quite close and slightly different than CCE at the end of production period. But at this period, if we see the oil rate and gas rate are quite similar. So this small difference in CCE and CVD has practically no impact. This is showing the well bottom hole flowing pressure. It's same for CCE, CVD and compositional. Now going through the medium rich gas condensate simulation performance. So first we have generated a Blackwell PVD table using a medium rich gas condensate, and here the solution oil gas ratio is 120 stock tank barrel per million. Here also we see that CCE and CVD Blackwell PVD tables are quite similar, but DLE is different. This is the Blackwell PVD properties for oil and gas, and here also we see that CCE and CVD are quite close and DLE is different. So top left is oil formation volume factor, and we see that blue one, the DLE Blackwell PVD table is quite different than CCE and CVD. Top middle is solution gas oil ratio, and here also we see that DLE is different than CCE and CVD. CCE and CVD are quite similar. Top right is oil viscosity, and the blue line, the Blackwell PVD table with DLE experiment, is quite different than oil viscosity with CCE and CVD. The same Blackwell PVD table but in metric unit system, and some points near initial saturation pressure or dew point pressure has been removed to make RS monotonic in the top middle plot. This is the simulated performance. The top left is the gas production rate, top middle is oil production rate, and top right is producing gas oil ratio. Bottom left is reservoir pressure, and bottom right is well bottom hole flowing pressure. Here also we see that gas production rate is quite similar in all the cases, but oil production rate is lower in Blackwell simulation with DLE Blackwell PVD table. Top right, the producing gas oil ratio is quite different in DLE and different than compositional and CCE CVD. Now going through the individual plot, this is the gas production rate for CCE, CVD and compositional, which are quite close. This is the oil production rate, similar for CCE, CVD and compositional. This is producing gas oil ratio, and here also we see slight difference between CCE and CVD. CVD is close to compositional at the end of production period, but at the end the oil rate and gas rate both are quite similar. So this difference in CCE and CVD has practically no impact and it's not issue. This is the well bottom hole pressure. Now this going through this volatile oil. So now we have taken volatile oil, and initial solution gas oil ratio for this oil is 2300 standard cubic feet per stock tank barrel. And this black LPVT table for CCE, CVD and DLE are quite close. This is the black LPVT table for both oil and gas, and here we see that we get similar black L table for CC, CVD and DLE. Slight difference in the oil viscosity in the top right plot. Oil viscosity is slightly higher in DLE, black LPVT table. Same plot in metric unit system. And this is the simulated performance for compositional and black oil with 3 black LPVT tables. Top left is the gas production rate, which is similar in all the cases. Top middle is oil production rate, which is similar in all the cases. Top right is producing gas oil ratio, and if we see that DL is different than CCE, CVD and compositional is close to CCE and CVD. Bottom left is the reservoir pressure, which is similar in all the cases. Bottom right is the well bottom hole flowing pressure, which is similar in all the cases. Now going through individual plots, this is the oil production rate. CCE, DLE and compositional are quite similar, but CCE is close to compositional. Gas production rate quite similar in all the 3 cases. This is the producing gas oil ratio, and producing gas oil ratio in DLE is slightly higher than CCE, and CCE and compositional are quite similar. Bottom hole flowing pressure quite similar in all the cases. Now simulation of the slightly volatile oil. This oil has 1450 standard cubic feet per stock tank barrel initial solution gas oil ratio. Black LPVT table is quite similar in all the 3 cases, CC, CVD and DLE. This is the black LPVT properties for both oil and gas, and it's quite similar in all 3 cases. Black LPVT properties in metric unit system. And this is a simulated performance for this fluid and compositional and black L simulation for 3 black LPVT tables. Initial plus gas production rate quite similar for all the 3 cases. Oil production rate is also quite similar. Producing gas oil ratio is quite similar. DL is slightly higher than CCE and compositional. Compositional and CCE are quite close. Well bottom hole flowing pressure, which is similar in all the 3 cases. Now we have also taken equation of a state model from SB 3017, and this is the rich gas condensate from SB 30714, and this is showing the solution oil gas ratio. And if you see, its CC and CVD are quite close and DLE is different. This is oil and gas PVT properties. CC and CVD are quite close. DLE is different. Oil viscosity is quite high if you see the top right in DLE case. We have also done the simulation using this rich gas condensate, and in this case the reservoir simulation model is taken from this SP paper, and this is a fine grid radial model. And here we are showing the performance of the compositional and black oil with three different black oil PVD tables. The blue line, which is for the case of black oil PVD table with DLE experiment, is quite different than all other. So going through the individual plot, here we see that CCE and CVD are similar, but the black oil performance is slightly different than compositional. So if you see the gas production rate, it's slightly lower than compositional. And in this fine grid radial model, we have there is a condensate blockage effect, and this difference between black oil and compositional is due to oil viscosity difference in compositional and black oil model. This is the oil production rate, solution gas producing gas oil ratio, quite similar in CCE and CVD, slightly lower than compositional. Then the reservoir was also simulated using a vertically fractured well. And if we see here, top left gas production rate, top middle is the oil production rate, top right is producing gas oil ratio. And you see this blue line, the black oil simulation with DLE black oil PVD table is different than other. The individual plot, here we see that CCE and CVD are quite similar, though slightly different than DLE due to oil viscosity difference in black oil and compositional simulation. Producing gas oil ratio, similar in CCE, CVD, close to compositional, but DLE is quite different. So our recommendation is to use a CCE experiment for both oil and gas reservoirs. CCE and CVD black oil tables are quite close for both oil and gas samples, and either method can be used equally to generate black oil PVD tables. And as we have seen, the simulated performance is similar for CCE and CVD in all cases and close to compositional. For gas condensate reservoirs, CVD is slightly better than CCE at the end of production period, when oil and gas production rate was quite low, and this is not an issue. In case of gas condensate reservoirs, if there is a condensate blockage effect, the oil viscosity may need to be artificially lowered in the black oil PVD table if we want to match black oil with compositional model performance.